and y'all can look at my track record. You know, I've only been at 2 places, so I've never been a guy that's really worried about the next job. I've always just tried to be great where I am, and you know, so I know those questions. Sometimes there's been jobs that have been offered to me that nobody knows, and that's great because that's how I operate to this day, and that's awesome. But then you get stuff like this where people will throw your name out for things, and I get that it's fun to speculate, and people don't mean any ill will, but it's really my complete focus is on Clemson, and I hope I'm here for a long time. But trying to beat Louisville.
Coach, Pitt came in here 2 years ago with a great.
I think it's cold in Cleveland too, isn't it? It's like really cold. Yeah,
bitter cold.
Coach Venables says you don't like the cold.
I hate the cold.
And it's Cleveland.
I hate the cold. You know, ironically, I did go to Cleveland in May, and it's actually a pretty cool place. I'd never been there. The facility's in a neighborhood, and are you from Cleveland?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
That's why I was telling you, you're really upsetting her.
Oh, it's actually, I'd never been. It was actually cool. I went up for to a Cavs game. We went to the Cavs Raptors, and so I've got some friends up there on that staff, and so we went over to the facility. It's actually a really cool place, and you know, it was a neat city right there on the Lake Erie and all that. It was kind of neat to be able to see that, but that's I'm sure they'll do a great job in getting the right guy in there.
Coach, Pitt coming in here 2 years ago with a great offensive game plan, obviously handed your only blemish that season. Is that still fresh on these players' mind, and the fact that, you know, anything can happen on any Saturday?
Well, I mean, they haven't lost much. These guys have not lost much, but I certainly hope that they remember. We talked about it, not them. We just talked about every week that, you know, we think we're good enough to beat anybody, but also the mindset of anybody can beat us. And so you got to prepare well, you got to play well, and that's just what we do, you know. And then you compete amongst yourselves too. I mean, just trying to have consistency in your performance and fun doing it. But you know, we don't sit around and think about the Pittsburgh game very often around here. But these guys know that anybody can beat us. And I'm gonna tell you, this is a team. And I meant what I said the other day. I mean, they're 127th in turnover margin. If you cut that in half, they're probably 5-3 or 6-2 right now. If we were 127th in turnover margin, we'd be 4-4. All right, it's probably what we'd be. And that's just, you know, so they're very capable, very capable. And but it really, we don't ever make it about the opponent. We just want to play well, and we got a standard, and that's all we focus on every week. Doesn't matter who we play. When it matters who you play, that's when you become inconsistent. You know, and if there's one thing we've done over the last 8 years, it's be consistent. You know, we've had a bad day or two, but for the most part, we've played well.
Have these players, coming off 3 blowout wins, have they responded the way you'd like to see them respond on a week like this?
Yeah, I mean, they're enjoying practice, and this is our last phase of our season, and you know, they know that there's a sense of urgency that comes with that, and they can see the finish line, and we want to finish well. Everybody's eager to do that.
You talked about some of their big wide receivers that they have. They've got that freshman Atwell, who's kind of like Greg Dortch from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
I know Dortch left that game early, but you did a pretty good job of containing him. What did you do so well against them, and you think defensively?
Well, we just dominated the trenches in that game. I mean, it just, you know, I mean, there wasn't much that they could do with how we controlled the line of scrimmage, and everything that they do is really built off the run game, and they just absolutely could not run the football on us. And so them dropping back and us being able to get the type of pressure that we could, it really minimized his opportunities. He's a great player, and but we minimized him just through the pressure and the performance up front. And we played well on the back end, but this is a really good group of receivers. I mean, this is across the board. You know, they're as good receiver-wise as anybody we played. Big. I mean, they're huge. They got some giants out there, and some good veterans and a couple of new guys mixed in. Good tight end. So it's a good matchup. And then this quarterback's getting better. You know, he's been very inconsistent. He's a 50-something% completion guy, but hey man, anybody can get hot on any given day, and you saw that last week. I mean, threw for 300-something yards. So he's a very capable guy, and he can run, and he's a willing runner. So we've got to do a great job in you know, trying to not let him get comfortable and winning those matchups outside, especially some of those 50-50 balls, because they're going to take a bunch of shots. It's just built into what they do. So a lot of those hold your breath type plays, and we got to win that matchup.
How's Justin's hamstring?
He's doing okay. He's had a good week of practice, really good week of practice.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.